Welcome back to Pain Law. I'm Adam Goldfein. This is Richard Griffin. This is where you get the inside information if you've been involved in an automobile accident, a slip and fall, if you've been hurt on the job. This is where you can get the information so you can make an informed decision. And one of the most difficult things sometimes, Richard, for people is how do they find the right attorney?
Right.
Especially when they may have an attorney that's in the family or the neighbor, and they don't even practice personal injury law, and they can't even do a proper evaluation on the facts.
Right. And, you know, that's one of those things where certainly that free consultation is important because you can get a second opinion that easily.
Okay.
But if you go to an attorney that doesn't specialize in personal injury, workers' comp, or Social Security disability, you're really doing yourself a disservice because they are not going to have the expertise needed to make sure you get the recovery that you should get.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, I'm an attorney. I will tell you, if I got hurt, I'd call you because that's not the area of law I practiced. It's not the area of law I'm most comfortable in, and I would miss all the nuances, and I'd be outboxed by someone who's playing on the other side, and that's what they do all day.
Absolutely. You get good at what you do a lot of, and this is all I've done for nearly 20 years.
Yeah. So what happens, though, when somebody goes to an attorney and the attorney says no case? Right. Does that mean there's no case?
It really doesn't. You know, it's one of those scenarios where you can't give up. You know, I've said that before. You just can't give up. It's one of those things where you make that phone call and we evaluate it. There are times where other attorneys may throw in the towel and say no.
Give me a real-world example where a client came to you, but this is the key, after another attorney said no.
Right.
Okay.
And you really feel good about those kind of cases.
Why?
I mean,
Why?
I love to get a $1 million recovery.
That's the competitiveness
fantastic.
of you.
But I love to do a great job on a case that other people either dropped the ball and said, I'm not interested in the case, dropped it, or just rejected it.
All right.
There's a case where the individual called me up and they were really down. I mean, they had been turned down by 5 attorneys.
5?
5 attorneys.
Oh, you got to figure you're giving up by 5.
Well, he didn't. You know, he went ahead and made one last phone call.
Okay.
And, you know, I saw the diamond in the rough. I saw that this person was really hurt.
Well, why did people say no, and then what did you see? What was the nuance? Okay?
Well, the case ended up settling for $350,000, and with the facts of this case, that's the highest recovery in Warren Robins that I was able to find in my jury verdict research. So I was really happy about that. But I don't know any attorney that would walk away from a $350,000 case. In this case, there were some problems. We had a scenario where the other car changed lanes and there was no contact between the vehicles. Our client swerved off the road and off the highway.
To avoid it.
To avoid it.
So it was a liability question.
So the first thing the adjuster said is, we're not accepting 100%, maybe no responsibility. So, immediately attorneys are going, I don't know. Well, you ended up, when they went off the road, there wasn't a lot of property damage. Well, just like an IME, just like other ways, adjusters look at gaps in care. They look at how much property damage. In this case,
so they said, well, there's not a lot of property damage. You couldn't be hurt.
Couldn't be hurt. And then the third thing was that they had a history of injury. So a lot of times the adjuster is going to say, hey, if there's a lot of pre-existing injury,
so it wasn't this injury.
What do we do? We didn't cause it.
Right.
So in this situation, this gentleman really was hurt. And if it wasn't for that swerve, I mean, that person could have just run over a piece of rubber on the road. Instead, they swerved frantically into our client's lane. They yanked the wheel, they got off the road. Well, the pre-existing injury is what I used to argue, hey, this person it didn't take a lot to hurt this person.
And people need to understand that, it's not your fault. If you have a pre-existing injury and you're more susceptible to being injured, well, you get compensated for that.
That's
and
right.
It's the eggshell client, right?
Eggshell client, eggshell plaintiff.
Right.
It means that, this person had had a previous surgery. It didn't take a lot to require another surgery.
It'd be like hurting a child.
Right.
Well, we don't apply the standards of an adult to a child. Or
That's
hurting
exactly
an
right.
old person, right?
That's exactly right.
They're going to get hurt.
They are.
Now let me ask you, because people are going to be saying, well, how do I know what my case is worth? Because my case is specific to me.
Right.
How do I figure this out?
Well, one way is to call 877-PAIN-LAW and talk to me personally.
Right.
I will be glad to go through the facts of the case. And it takes a lot of evaluation. I mean, I can't
Well, what if I want a quick calculation? I don't have the time. I just want to know, do I got anything?
Well, you can go to 877painlaw.com, my website.
All right.
And there is a button that you can go to that is the settlement calculator. And you click on that and you select either the personal injury calculator or the workers' comp calculator. Now, it's going to ask for a lot of information because this isn't a number I'm just pulling out of the air. I'm going to take all the information that you provide me. I'm going to use my legal expertise. I'm going to use jury verdict research that I've done in the past or new jury
So
verdict
this
research.
isn't just like a computer spitting out a random number.
It is not. That's always a myth. You know,
Okay.
people think that, oh, it's just a certain number times your medical and all that. It isn't. It never has been. It doesn't make any sense for that to be the case. If someone went to the doctor and had a huge bill but there wasn't much injury, that's not worth the same as someone who had a surgery, even if the medical bills add up to the same.
And so it's important to take away, and this is the key, your case is specific to you. The facts, the liability, the other driver, the injury, the types of insurance, right? All the different
Absolutely.
things that you're looking through, whether it's an accident on the job or not,
Right.
is Social Security disability going to play in, right? All the different evaluation
Right.
points, not to mention the law, right?
Right.
Looking at the actual application of the facts to the law.
And people don't know their rights. They don't
Yeah.
know what they're entitled to, and they don't know how to get that medical treatment they need. If you don't get the medical treatment you need, you're not going to get better physically, and I'm not going to have what it takes to get you the recovery you're entitled to.
And there's a lot more to the damages than you can recover than just simply the pain or just simply your past medical bill. So if you want to know how much you're entitled to, what your case is worth, we encourage you either call Richard Griffin or go check out his website where you can get a true pain calculator.